Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. Two more sessions this evening with Coach Max. We've got shooting shot science, as we call it, and chair skills. We're going to kick off tonight with chair skills. Welcome Max to the session. For those of you that haven't joined us tonight, obviously we will share this video in the group as always. So without further ado, I will hand over to Max. Thanks, Max.
Thanks, G. Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying these sessions that we are doing and you're learning something from them. I'd like to encourage you guys, every single one of you, that even though we're doing these sessions, I urge you to actually go into Google and start researching what you are actually listening to here. So if you need to research, you need to investigate, you must have a curious mind, be a better version of yourself, and just keep investigating and researching this stuff. Don't just take it as gospel. Whatever we're showing you here is what it's all about. Is there somebody trying to come in there?
No, Max, somebody's microphone, carry on.
Okay. So guys, it's important. Just go out there and do a lot of research yourself, because Jerry, Sleep, and myself are actually doing this stuff through Google. You can actually do that. So we're just giving you a foundation, but be a better version of yourself and go out there and do it yourselves. Okay? Pick up, there's a hell of a lot of information out there, and we just can't cram your brains full of all the information that's actually on the websites and on Google. So we're just skimming the top of it, so to speak. So go out there and do a lot of it yourselves. Now, before we get into chair skills, you've got to understand the objective of this game. So the objective of this game is to take something round, which is a ball, and put it in something round, which is a ring. And the team that does that the most wins the game. Now, to meet that objective, it's broken down into two groups. It's obviously skills and tactics. Now, because we're doing entry level, we don't do anything on the tactical side, but now we're going to start working on the skill side. Skills is broken up into two groups as well. It's either ball skills, which is all your shooting, layups, anything that you've got to do with a ball, passing, catching, dribbling, etc., etc. And chair skills is obviously it's getting into a chair, so it's transferring, pushing a chair, stopping a chair, turning a chair, reversing. Okay, so before we even start off with, I'd like to just do something where we are actually transferring from a chair into a chair. But I need you people to go onto Google and start looking at this, because there's a lot of it. It's transferring from your chair into a car, from a car into a chair, from a bed into a chair, from the floor into a chair. So we're just going to give you this now from a chair to a chair. So if we watch this short video, it might just give you a broader version of what we're actually looking for when you're transferring. This is important why we're putting this on here, because during transformation or transferring into another chair, an athlete could either cut himself, scratch himself, or bump himself. And this, going further down the line, could sort of increase health situations, i.e. he now starts getting pressure sores if they're not looked at. And you'll find, like in this video here, this guy's actually covering his back so he doesn't get rash from the backrest. So you've got to look at all aspects of this thing. All right, so let's have a look at this, and we can always answer questions later on. But please do some research. Go and Google all the stuff.
Whilst at training this week, I thought I'd set my gimbal up and just record a quick video of how I get in and out of my wheelchair basketball chair. As you can see, I'm just undoing all the straps, and I'll talk through those as I'm then putting them back in. And you'll notice the wheelchair basketball chair as well has no brakes. It won't be up against the wall to stabilise it. What I'll do here is when I transfer into it, I'll move myself just to the front of my chair, holding onto the frame of my day chair and then the frame of the wheelchair basketball chair. I'm able to hold it in place and just a nice easy transfer across. I have no use of my my body from my chest down, so you'll see here I've got to physically pick my feet up, put them into the foot plate, which has a little lip on the front which stops my feet going forwards, and then I've got to just strap my feet in. Always feels a bit precarious when I'm doing this because there's nothing from stopping me falling forwards there. Once my feet are strapped in, a few essentials. Really need to make sure that my tracky bottoms have not dropped down, so I've got to pull them up. This is important because I'm always cautious that I'm looking after my skin. I'm just going to tuck my t-shirt in. The reason I tuck my t-shirt is to make sure that when I've got all my strapping on, the t-shirt doesn't ride up. If it does ride up, it means that all that strapping is going to be exposed to my skin, and again can potentially compromise the parts of my body that I can't feel. So here I've got two waist straps. Again, I've got no control of my core at all, and this kind of simulates ab muscles for me. So I've got two that actually go around my stomach, and then I've got a ratchet strap which locks me into the chair, and that's going to really anchor me into the chair. I say I'm always going to be cautious that my t-shirt's not rippled and it's not going to be causing any damage to my skin. But this gives me a good amount of balance, considering I've got no core stability at all. My final strap that goes on, I've got two straps that go over my knees, and this is just to prevent my legs from moving around. Once I'm now in the chair, I'm completely anchored in, and it gives me a good range of movement. And the session was over. I did a 2-hour session. Thank you for Southport Meters for letting me join. And again, just transferring back into my day chair. Now I do have the brakes on my day chair to prevent it from moving. First thing I do, undo all the strapping, get my feet out. And the reason I want to get my feet out first is I don't want to try and transfer my feet locked in the foot plate. And it's just how I got in. Move myself to the front of the chair, hand on my day chair, quick transfer across, pop my feet back in the foot plate, and I'm safely back into my day chair. Thanks for.
Okay, I hope you guys learned something from that. So very important. Now you can see whether he's transferring, before you can even start any of your skills, your ball skills or your chair skills, your athlete is actually going to be comfortable in the chair. Now I know that Sipa has covered this in a previous lesson, but you can't go and put, say, like a one-pointer into a high-pointer's chair. He's not comfortable. He's going to fall out. Or a low-pointer into a high-pointer's chair. He's going to fall out of it. He's not comfortable. He's not balanced. He's not strapped in correctly. So please make sure that when you're putting your athletes into chairs, that they are designed or they actually suit their classification. Okay? And it's important, yes, strap yourselves in so that you guys are stable. And not only that, they've got to be comfortable. Okay, I hope that makes sense, but if there's any questions on that, we'll answer that later on. Now, the fundamental chair skills will be obviously transferring into a chair, strapping yourself in. Now, we need to push the chair. We need to push it forward. There's a way to do that. We need to stop the chair. We need to be able to reverse the chair in a backward movement. Stop the chair again. There's a reason why we do certain things, and we'll go through that as we're going through the lesson. Then from there, we need to do also basic fundamentals of turning the chair to the left, turning the chair to the right. There's a way of doing that. Pivoting, stopping, turning, backward pushing, and forward pushing. We're not going to go any further than that, because when you start going further than that, we start looking at clovers, and we start looking at drills, and then starting tilting, etc., etc., etc. And right now, I don't think we need to get into all that, not at this level anyway. So to start off with, let's look at the forward pushing action. Now, you can see here, she looks like she's about a mid-pointer by the looks of things. If I'm looking at her sitting in a chair, the seat of her chair is parallel with the ground. Now, to start off with, you've got to start looking at your body position, the hand position on the wheel, your head position, and focus. So it looks like she's pretty strapped in there. So she's starting at 12 o'clock. You can see where the hands are. And then she'll push forward until she gets to the 3 o'clock position. And then she releases and she comes back to the 12. Now, you'll find with low pointers, they do this dolphin effect where it looks like they're moving up and down off their knees. They're using their knees for balance. So their chests actually sit down on their knees. And you'll find that their strokes are from 12 maybe to about 1, 2 o'clock, and then they're back again. Very, very fast strokes. So let's have a look at this video here, and let's see if it demonstrates what I'm talking about.
Apologies, Max, the sound didn't record on this clip.
Okay, that's fine. Well, anyway, it's the hand position, the thumb position. If you can just stop it there, G. So the hand, can we go back onto that? So we can just reiterate what we were just talking about there. So we're pushing forward. So it's the hand position. The hand position is on top of the wheel. The thumb position is either on the wheel pointing forward. Be very, very careful when you are pushing the rim forward. You don't want your thumb to get caught between the push ring and the rim itself. You will break fingers. That's why it's very important on the thumb position. The trunk position, you can either be leaning slightly forward, and the head position, you're looking forward because you want to be looking in the direction in which you are going. Okay, we can carry on from there, G. You can see she's moved, she's slightly bent forward and she's looking forward. So it's hand position, thumb position, trunk position, head position. Now, that last video there, what classification do you think that athlete is? That is a low pointer. Can you see that is the very fast hand movements? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's very fast. So that's obviously a low pointer there. So the backward pushing, it's like pushing backwards, just pulling the wheels. So you're not pushing the wheels, you're pulling them in the backward motion. So it's again, it's hand position beginning at the 3 o'clock, lean backwards, because if you don't lean backwards, there's no balance in the trunk. And remember the strapping and also the classification. And what it is we lean backwards and we lean up against the backrest. Hands off the wheel at just past 12 o'clock. So we're starting from the 3 and we're moving back up to the 12. Stop it there, G. Again, hand position, thumb position. Remember the importance of the thumb position. We don't want to break that. The trunk position and the head position. Now, going backwards, you'll most probably have to do a shoulder check to see where you're going. Because if you don't have eyes in the back of your head, so you either have to look over your shoulder to see where you're going and carry on accordingly. And carry on there, G. Now, that's obviously a high pointer because you're sitting high and her backrest is pretty low. But she's starting from the 3 and we're going up to the 12 o'clock position. Watch, you'll lean slightly backwards. And remember, you're now pulling on the wheel, you're not pushing on the wheel. You can see with that last video, he's around about a 1.5, maybe a 2. I could be corrected there. Maybe Sipa can help me on that, but you can see it's those short strokes again. Very short, fast strokes. Let's carry on. Now, turning to the left or turning to the right. A turn describes the movement around a point, which means that it's your center of gravity. So if you put a nail right through your head, going right through into the floor, that's the point we were talking about. So to turn, the same mechanics for forward or backward push are applied. The wheel on the side of the chair in which direction to which the athlete wants to move is kept stationary. So you'll have one hand on the wheel, which you're holding still, and the other hand will be moving, either pulling or pushing, so depending on which way you want to turn backwards or turn forwards. And you'll be pushing on the outside wheel. Okay, stationary hand, moving hand, trunk position, and head position. Can you see her right hand was stationary and the left hand pushed her forward? Now the right hand was stationary and she's pulling backwards, so she's moving backwards in a backward motion. Look where the hand is. Look where the head is. So a lot of these videos are self-explanatory, but this is all we need to know, the basic fundamentals of using a chair skills, turning, stopping, turning to the left, turning to the right, and reversing or moving backwards. Now, pivot. It's a movement on a point that does not cause or change in location on the court, but simply a change in point of view. The athlete still pushes forward on the outside wheels, but while doing so, he pulls back with the opposite wheel. Now that's a pivot. And you're going to watch, he's most probably going to be going in the backwards direction as well. and forward. Let's just have a look at that. There it is there. So we got the hand on. You see the right hand? It's keeping that right wheel that's stationary. The left hand is forward, and she's most probably going to pull backwards, which means she's going to turn to her left. Okay, they talk about the quarter turns. So again, it's from the 3 o'clock up to the 12 o'clock. Or from the 12 to the 3, depending whether you're going forward or backwards. Okay, it's pretty basically straightforward. So, stationary hand is on the 12, and the one that she's going to move backwards will be at the 3 o'clock position. So she'll move her left hand to the 3 o'clock position. Okay, stopping this chair now. Stopping is achieved by locking the arms and elbows and grabbing the wheels while leaning against the backrest. The reason why we do that is so you'll be pushing forward, you'll grab both wheels, you'll lock the arms, and you'll most probably be at the 2 o'clock position and you lean back into the backrest. The reason why we do that is to stop the chair from skidding forward. Now you've got control of the chair. Please bear in mind, when you start playing in game situations, if you take your hands off the chair when a ref blows the whistle and you take your hands off the chair, he's going to blow you for the foul because there's no chair control. So keep your hands on the wheels at all time. Now, watch the stopping. He's pushing here in the forward movement. He grabs both wheels. He locks his arms, locks his elbows. He leans back into the backrest.
Apologies, this link doesn't appear to be working.
Okay, well, as we previously described, he's pushing forward. He wants to stop the chair. He grabs the wheels with both hands, locks the elbows. It's important you lock the elbows and have a firm grip on the tire, lean back into the backrest, and you'll stop the chair. And that way, you won't have skidding of the chair unless you've got very, very smooth tires or something of that nature. But we will find another video and we'll post that. Are we done with this, G?
Just give me a sec. There's a couple of slides to go on that. Just 1 second. Let's move to the next slide. Something's not cooperating with us at the moment. Let me just try something else.
Remember, people, while we're waiting for this to come up, You need to introduce drills into your practices for your juniors or for your kids and start polishing the skill. Do it slowly to start off with, and then slowly speed it up until they get comfortable with the speed, they're comfortable in the chair. They can turn to the left, they can turn to the right, and that's what we're actually looking for. They can stop the chair, they're comfortable with that, they're not falling out of the chair. The only way they'll fall out of the chair if you haven't strapped them in properly. Okay, I'm not going to get into bounce stop with these guys, G, because that bounce stop will also be part of ball skills. And right now, just at entry level, we don't need to go into that, I don't think. But they can have a look at it and see what it entails. He bounces the ball and he puts both hands on the wheels. That ball must come up at least shoulder high on the bounce stop. See, both hands on the wheels, he's locked. And now he can pick up the ball before it hits the floor again. So the things you've got to look for there is the bounce, the stop, and the catch. When we're looking at picking up a ball, you've actually got to come up next to the ball, put your hand on the ball and push it up against the rim of the wheel and come up through the backward motion or the back side of that wheel so that the ball comes up to the top, to the peak of the wheel, and you can then scoop it into your lap and you can carry on bouncing it or whatever it is you need to do from there. Again, need to be balanced. Ball position, look, it's on his wheel. He scoops it up, but he pushes it against the rim. Pushes it against the rim. It comes up to the peak of the tire. He's got control of the wheel or of the chair with the less dominant hand, the left hand, and the right hand or the stronger hand is the one that's pushing the ball up against the wheel, letting it come up. They must probably put it in their lap so they can at least bounce it again and carry on with their pushes. But you've got to go full circle there, right up to the top. You'll find a lot of the most experienced players, sometimes they don't even use their wheels. They'll just be able to grab it, pick it up with their hand, and carry on moving. So wheelchair basketball requires a combination of fundamental skills, coordination, and the understanding of the game's dynamics. Let us take a look at some of the basic fundamental wheelchair skills, which you've done, and how to apply them at a beginner's level. So that's what we've already done there. We've showed you the videos. So if there's any questions on that, I don't know if you want to open the floor to any questions, G, or is that just self-explanatory, a lot of those videos? But guys, it's important. Please go on to Google and start investigating, research. And once you've done that, research some more. It's very important. Just be a better version of yourself. And the only way you can do that is doing a lot of work by yourselves. You can't depend solely on these lessons and webinars that we are giving you right now.